بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم الحمد لله رب العالمين والصلاة والسلام على رسول الله وعلى آله وصحبه أجمعين. Welcome to episode 1 of the series Leadership Lessons from the Sunnah of the Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam. In this episode we'll take the story of when the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam went to Taif. Aisha radiallahu anha asked the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam, did you have any day that is more difficult, more severe upon you than the day of Uhud? So the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam told her the story of when he went to a Taif to call them to Islam, to share with them the message of the truth, to call them to worship Allah alone and not associating partners with Him. And so the Prophet ﷺ said he went to call them, but the people of a Taif, he talked to their leadership, they rejected what the Prophet ﷺ was calling them to. Not only they reject that, but they insulted the Prophet ﷺ and harmed him. And so the Prophet ﷺ said, he left and he was worried, he was sad, he was distressed. And he didn't realize until he looked up when he was in Qarn al-Tha'alib, in that area, and he looked up and saw a cloud and saw Jibreel alayhi salam. And Jibreel said, "O Muhammad, indeed Allah has heard your call to the people of Taif and what they have responded. And I have with me the angel who's in charge of the mountains. Whatever you command him to do, he will do." So the angel of the mountains said, "O Muhammad, your Lord heard what you told the people and what they responded. And if you wish, whatever you command me to do, I will do. If you wish, I will close both mountains upon them and crush them, basically destroy them all. Because they have earned that by rejecting the messenger of Allah sallallahu alaihi wasallam, by rejecting the truth, by harming and hurting the Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam and insulting him. So they clearly earn the wrath of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala." So the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam responded to the angel of the mountains. He said, "No, don't do that. No, don't crush them between both mountains. Don't do that. No, but rather, I hope that Allah brings out from their offsprings those who worship Allah alone and do not associate any partners with Him." Now, this story, we hear it a lot when we're we're trying to show the mercy and compassion of the Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam, that despite what they've done to him, he didn't retaliate, he didn't get back for his own self. He was very merciful. He cared about these people despite what they have done to him, and wanted what's best, was hoping that Allah would bring about from their children and grandchildren and their offsprings in the future, even if they didn't believe, they didn't accept his message, the Prophet ﷺ still hoped that Allah would bring out from their children, their offsprings, those who would worship Allah alone and not associate any partners with Him. And so I want us to look at this story from a leadership lens, to look what lessons can we extract from, what leadership lessons specifically could we extract from this story. So when you take a moment, you can pause the video, think for yourself, what leadership lessons can you take from this story? Now, these are the lessons that I'd like to share with you. These are the leadership lessons that I have extracted and reflected on from this story. The Prophet ﷺ stayed focused on his mission. He stayed focused on his mission. His mission, he went there to call these people to Islam, to call them to worship Allah alone. That was his goal. That was his mission. He stayed focused on that. He didn't get distracted with things. He didn't, lose track of what his goal is, but rather he stayed focused on his mission. And that last statement that he said, "No, but rather I hope that Allah brings out from their offsprings those who worship Allah alone and do not associate any partners with Him." That's his goal. That's his mission. That's the whole call of his da'wah, is to call people to Allah. And so he stayed focused on his mission. He didn't lose track of that because of one incident. He didn't get discouraged by setbacks. He persevered. This was so severe of an incident. He didn't give up, but rather he continued and he persevered and he persisted in his da'wah and calling people to Allah. And we see now the result of that throughout his life, and after it until this day, we see the fruits of his da'wah. The Prophet ﷺ didn't take it personally. It wasn't personal. He didn't take it personally. He was the best of people with the best of message, and yet they rejected it. He didn't take it personally. He did not take it personally and stayed focused on his mission. He also didn't dwell on the naysayers. He didn't dwell on those who opposed him, those who didn't like what he was calling to, those who rejected his message, but rather he worked with those who shared his vision, who supported the work that he was doing, those companions who accepted Islam, who supported him and shared that vision that he had for the people, and he worked with them and was able to succeed. He didn't dwell on the naysayers and sit down and overthink about these people and dwell why they rejected it, and kind of give up because of that, but rather he persisted and worked with those who did support him rather than dwell on those who opposed him. Barakallahu fikum, jazakumullah khaira, wassalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh.